Well, we welcome you to tonight's edition of the Mike Houston Radio Show, live from the West Ashley location of Kickin' Chicken, as we come on the heels of the Dogs' first Southern Conference victory of the season, a win at Mercer, 28-26. So right off the bat, Coach, we congratulate you and the team on SoCon victory number one, what we expect to be the first of many, many more Southern Conference victories.
Well, it was a great road win against a very good Mercer football team, and I thought it was a great environment down there, homecoming at their place, and had a good crowd and very enthusiastic, and just a great night for Citadel football. So just excited about the way our kids played and finished the game off, able to pull out the victory.
This week, the Dogs are going to have a homecoming game again, but it'll be the one they host, and they'll take on the Furman Paladins, but we'll talk more about that as the show goes along here today. 843-725-0989 is our phone number to get involved with the program here tonight with the coach. And so, again, we'll get into the Paladins coming up a little bit later on in the program. In the Mercer ball game, you jump out to a big lead. Wanted to talk about that a little bit. There were 11 series in the ball game for your club, and you scored touchdowns in 4 of the first 5. So talk about the way your team started that game with regards to the offensive efficiency and jumping out to that big advantage.
Well, probably the best half of football we've played all year offensively in the first half, and the offensive line was clicking very good execution by our slot backs and Aaron, and really got off to a fast start. Able to punch it in there on our opening drive after the long run on the midline triple play out the back door by Cam Jackson, and so very, very pleased with the way we played there in the opening half, and really did things well. Did not put ourselves in bad situations, and did a good job of giving us manageable downs and distances every series, which the primary reason we got out to the start.
For a team that leads the league in time of possession, you sure did score fast.
Yeah.
At least in 3 of the 4 of those settings. You scored in 1:56, 2:17, 5:47, and 29 seconds. So it's what made for the quickest? What made for those quick scoring drives?
Well, we were able to take advantage of some things that they were doing defensively and give us some big plays, and that's primarily how it happened. And we did feel like we wanted to come out and play fast offensively starting out because they had not seen a triple option team. And I do think we caught them off guard a little bit with how quickly we were operating. But I have no problem with scoring fast, scoring period. So it's not like we intentionally try to have 12-play drives. But however they come, whether 12 plays or 3 plays, as long as we can punch it in the end zone, it's a great drive.
We had read going in that Mercer was worried about being able to simulate the speed of your offense coming into the ball game, and they said it probably will take the first series for us to get an idea of how to adjust. And so,
and it's not it's not like we have great team speed offensively, but it's the fact that our kids execute it quickly. And so it's so hard to replicate all the motions and the operation of the triple option, how quickly they carry it out. It's so hard to replicate that in practice for any team that does not run the triple. And so it's something that takes time for those kids to understand just how quickly things are going to happen on game day. And I do think that was a factor there in the first half.
Style. Selection. Service. Quality. Value. See what everyone is talking about. Ashley Furniture Home Store.
Thanks for joining us tonight on the Mike Houston Radio Show. We are live from Kickin' Chicken's West Ashley location on the heels of a 28-26 victory over Mercer for the Citadel Bulldogs. They moved to 3-6 and 1-3 in the league, and they come home for homecoming on Saturday afternoon. It's a 2 o'clock ball game against the Furman Paladins, and we will not struggle for things to discuss with regards to the Paladins coming up a little bit later on in the program here. To kind of finish up a little bit on Mercer, the 28-10 halftime lead. Then you get into the second half, Coach, and they did make a run back at you. Game gets to a point where they score a touchdown that puts them within 2 of you. I was very grateful where we were in the game that an extra point didn't tie you up because 2-point conversions are no cakewalk.
Right.
And so you were able to get them held out. Devontae Delaney in particular was able to make a play there. Wanted to just walk through that 2-point conversion for them because they did bring out something out of the bag of tricks.
Yeah, I wasn't exactly expecting a reverse pass. We thought we'd get some kind of pick concept similar to what Notre Dame tried to run against Florida State there a few weeks ago in their big ball game. We thought we'd get something like that down there on the 2-point play. But they came out with a reverse pass, and we got great pressure from Justin Oxendine on the reverse player Chandler Curtis, their talented wide receiver, and forced probably a quicker throw than he was ready to make. But they got the quarterback out, John Russ, and snuck him into the back of the end zone. Devontae was coming on the reverse and saw the quarterback pass him and was able to bail and really made an acrobatic stop. To deflect the pass there and really seal the victory. So great play by Devontae and great play by Justin there to thwart the 2-point conversion.
When I talked to Devontae yesterday, he mentioned he said something just didn't feel right.
Right.
So he made his adjustment and he was in the right place, right time, and was able to knock it away and keep the quarterback from catching a 2-point conversion in that one. So Devontae Delaney also had an interception. He's had one in back-to-back weeks.
Right.
And so the league honored him with Defensive Player of the Week honors. And so that's the second of the year for your club. You had one for Mitchell Jeter a little earlier on. It's always great, I know, to get those accolades for the guys.
Yeah, and I've told the kids, you get awards like that when your team plays well and you do what you're supposed to do, and that's exactly what Devontae did. Both interceptions the last 2 weeks came on plays that earlier in the year he probably would not have played very well, but he's a freshman, he's a young player, but he's really, really worked hard with Coach Maurice Drayton to develop his fundamentals and to play balls down the field much better. He's a great athlete, and so I was really happy for him to see him make those plays the last 2 weeks, on balls down the sideline.
Charleston Crab House has been serving locals and visitors alike for the last 20 years. We have our crispy whole flounder. We have the seared ahi tuna. You name it, in the seafood business, we have it.
Be sure to stop by the Tiger and Leaf Lounge whenever you visit our locations. We have many frozen and specialty drinks, awesome margaritas. One of my favorites is the Wapu Punch.
If you don't like it down in the historic district, come over to James Island, sit on the Intercoastal Waterway. It is an unbelievable view where it's southern seafood at sensible prices and a darn good time.
I've had it happen, so I know exactly what it feels like. So it's something that's why you have to have depth. You have to have a quality backup there. We had it happen a few years ago. I've had it twice in my career happen, and you've got to go with the next guy. Now, all that being said, they've used 2 different quarterbacks in the meantime, but the number 7, the freshman Blajowski, P.J. Blajowski, he's been starting for about the last 6 games and is really coming along. And so it's much like our freshmen that are playing. By the time you get to this point in the season, they have enough experience to where they're not like a freshman anymore. And I think he's very talented. He's very similar to the quarterbacks we've seen the last 3 weeks, being a dual threat guy. So, it was something that really set them back early. But I think he's playing better and better now, and certainly he's going to be a formidable weapon for us that we'll have to stop on Saturday.
They had started a different young man at the beginning of the year.
Right.
His name's Woodruff. After the injury to Reese Hannon. But then they go to the freshman. I wonder if that was because of inefficiency or what made them decide to go in a different direction. Well, 3rd guy of the year starting at quarterback.
Looking at the films, and that's we've watched their entire season. Looking at the films, I think Woodruff, he struggled with a couple of things. One, he did turn it over in the PC game and the Western game at some critical times. And then number 2, I think he was just maybe a little inconsistent with where he put the ball. Blajowski has better speed. And so I think he brings that element of the quarterback run in, and will be a very good passer also. So I just think they felt like that that Blajowski gave them more of a weapon there at the quarterback position than what Woodruff had early on in the season.
And he's their second leading rusher. We've heard that
Right.
story before.
Sure. I mean, you're going to see the same stuff we've seen for the last 3 weeks. You know, the quarterback sweep, read, all that stuff with the pass off of it. So it's a very tough scheme to defend, and our kids have seen it enough now. They know where they're supposed to fit and how they're supposed to defend it, and then they just got to go out there and do it. But he is a very talented player, and his legs, they will be a factor on Saturday.
Furman, the Paladins, coming in on Saturday, 2 o'clock ball game at Johnson-Haygood Stadium. We got a lot more to do with the coach, and we're going to return with more from Kickin' Chicken's West Ashley location in just a moment. This is the Mike Houston Radio Show on Sports Radio 1450.
As far as the flea flicker, now Bobby does call the offense, and I'm sure it had something to do with having a freshman in there, but we had talked all week, and we talked right before we went on the field, and honestly we talked in the huddle right before that play that hey, if they get in this inverted flex bone set, they're doing it to isolate our corners right there, so you got to be ready for the vertical, any kind of vertical pass down the field. And Shy, I agree with you. I'm a huge fan of his because, number one, it's a mistake that's made by an inexperienced player. That's exactly what it is. And all he did was take one false step, and the receiver got behind him. But he has so much pride in the way he plays, and he's such a competitor that he was absolutely sick because he thought that he had, possibly cost us the game. And he told me after the game that he said, "Coach, I'm so glad that we won that game. I don't know if I'd been able to live with myself if we'd lost the game because I gave up, what was a cheap touchdown." So I think it's an experience that he's going to learn from, and I think it's an experience that's going to serve him well for the next 3.5 years because he's going to be a very, very good football player for us.
So get it while you can, because there may come a time when you do just the opposite, where you don't get anywhere near that young man.
Right. And I do think he has that kind of ability. He obviously is going to have to do a lot of work in the weight room, put on some size, and improve just fundamentally, but he has the God-given tools.
So the great call there, by the way, 843-725-0989, 843-725-0989. About 7 minutes or so left in the show. Wanted to remind you, too, that we have 2 of these shows left. Next Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, and then Tuesday the 18th is our final show of the season, and it will be at 7 here at Kickin' Chicken as well, leading into the last game of the year, which is at VMI. 2-game homestand for the Dogs. They play this weekend at home against Furman at 2. Samford is the opponent the week after that at 1 o'clock, and then at VMI at 1:30 on the 22nd. Do you feel like, with where your team is right now, and I think I know your answer to this one, Coach, can you win them all?
We feel like each week we got a shot. This week is going to be a very, very competitive football game. I expect Furman to play very, very well. With the players that are playing right now, I've seen 2 completely different performances. So I think it's going to be a game where we're going to have to play very well to have a shot to win. But I feel like that about each of the 3 games remaining. We'll worry about the other 2 after this week, but certainly we think we got a great chance to get a win Saturday if we come out and do what we do and do it very well.
Since 2002, the lottery has helped award more than 1 million scholarships. So when you play, you're not just taking a chance. You're also giving one.